I'm going live. Strangely enough, I'm going live. All right. I'm wondering if everybody's actually being able to see this. Maybe if I can slide over and do some crazy stuff with my system and crazy stuff with my system. And there we go.
Look, here comes the boss. That was a beautiful ending, boss. Yeah, right on. Yay.
Hiya, boss. Hiya, boss. Welcome.
Okay. I think I'm doing this right because I got a little ping from jumping in there. Okay. All right. So I'm in too deep. For any of y'all out there wondering, I'm also broadcasting on Fanbase just because I have the account and might as well use it. So for most of y'all out there, I just want to say this is WNDC, NDC. WNDC, NDC stands for We in the Crib, and you ain't. NDC. And yeah, I'm also doing laundry and some other stuff, so I'm really just trying to figure out what all I've got in this this setting. What I really wish more than anything else is that I can get comment. So I'm gonna try to comment myself because the beauty. Okay, so at least I know I'm connected to some degree with YouTube, and I guess it's gonna have to be good enough for me. All right. So oh, excuse me. So I'm trying to get some things off my chest because I keep bojangling. I keep missing moments and times that I probably should have been more steadfast, like so many other people that do these podcast things, but I can't really do what they do because, well, what I'm doing is not what a lot of people are doing. Where I'm at is not where a lot of people out there are at. I know because I find myself more than anything else. I find myself more than anything else being more entertained by many of the other podcasts and whatnot out there almost religiously now. Maybe too much religiously, like, watching too much TV. In a minute, I have to jump out here and go and throw my stuff in the dryer and hope that, and try to remember that my hats don't dry. Okay. 2022. The back end of the whole saga of everything from the pandemic to, oh shit, oh damn, wow. I picked up on a new uh, um, broadcast of some of those doom and gloom talking people and whatnot. I think what really put me on a lot more of this path of where I'm at in my mind is having um, actually, dove into a couple of these past conspiracy bestsellers or whatnot, from Celestine Prophecies to the whole 2012 kind of thing, or the year 2000, and a lot of that. But even more so deeply because um, I just, can't just quite relate. I can feel it, I can see it, I can taste it, when most people get up and they figure out what am I going to do today, this and the other. I mean, we've come a long way, this that and the other, and yet you know um I'm forced on a daily basis to, while I'm in this kind of journey of trying to strive and the chase of the almighty dollar, trying to earn a living and whatnot. I keep running into things on, I mean, even as simple as our money, only that hundreds of years from now somebody might play that little game about our money. You remember where you were 9/11? You remember what you were doing that year or that time? You remember seeing the post about it's on our money. How the hell all of us stuff that's a big surprise to everybody keeps showing up on our money? And yet when people keep talking about, man, I can't stand our government, I can't stand Washington, D.C., this, that, the other, the biggest images that they keep in their mindset are some of the very buildings that exist on our money. It exists on our money. And what really, kind of boggles the mind for people, especially Washingtonians, is the mere fact that those buildings aren't just, images on our money. It's places and locations that we drive by every day. A whole different kind of version of this Mr. Rogers kind of, we are the people in our neighborhood. Whole different kind of, and yet the concept behind the concept behind the concept behind the concept behind the concept has been entertained so much in the past that thousands of years people have all been trending on this moment in time that we're living right now. 2023, right around the corner. And yet, if anybody would have asked us how you feel about 2020, 2022, the pain, suffering, and death that we've basically had to struggle through, experience, fear, is at such a level that if this doesn't give you a reason to sit back and stop, think, focus, and react, because no matter which way this big wavy little thing called this planet that's now going in this wobble, that people have stopped talking about bipolar people and start talking about the bipolar planets. And yet we are genetically mutating, even if we like it or not, or gravitating towards, kind of like the way plants would just gravitate towards whatever the new sun or the new nutrient or whatnot is, rather you like it or not. Plants don't have a say if they're going to be organic or hybrid. And yet we as humans really try to get that deep about who, we really aren't, what that means with anything else, because we're still stuck in these cauldrons of something as simple as Black Lives Mattering, or this new world order of the ages that no longer has the consistency of all the people who were the powers that be, who said, don't do as I do as I say. Now all of us are doing what you can't say you did too. So we got popes dying without the ability of admitting just how much of a human they were. Now that we've got almost 57 different genetic gender identities recorded in the umbrella of what would be the stipulations behind hate crime. And yet many of us are still struggling, like Mr. Kanye, over the mere fact that, well, what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. No matter how foul each one of them want to try to act like. The reality that we're sitting here with, in some cases, it's not just a faith issue. It's kind of like, how about you waking up one morning and finding out that the curse has been lifted from your genetic existence, and yet the memo ain't quite out enough for you to be beneficial to anyone, even if you can get away with admitting that it existed. Emancipation. WNDC, we in the crib, and you ain't in DC, has so many different levels of existence that people are not quite comfortable with diving into the complexities of it. Chocolate City, but don't get it twisted. And they're going, but everything's twisted now. Many of the people who can remember when they were back in the 60s and 70s and whatnot, free love and all that. Many of them who swear up and down that if you were back there, you can't remember, are still stuck in their bodies in too healthy of a state to want to admit that, had our society and our culture been at the state of where it is 2023, with the LBGTs and everything else included too, back then 68% of all of the bitches, moans, and complaints that people today still complain about, genetically, culturally, racially, whatever, could have been fixed back then. If we were who we are right now, back then, when we wished and wanted and acted like, oh, this would be nice. Imagine where we could be right now in a lot of the state of where we're at, while we still have to struggle with this little circumstance. This is the age of the Aquarius, not the dawning anymore. And for that reason, it's even more difficult on a day-to-day basis for any upper metaphysical person on this planet to realize that no matter what shit show you're living in and around in your regional area, the reality is that everything that we've known is different for the rest of the history of wherever we're going. And there's no looking back. And you may not turn to salt, but you will be salty longer than you want to be. And yet, we can't quite understand that the older you get, they say, well, your virality changes. And you go, well, actually, the older you get, the more your salt has an effect. People, oh, you get the erectional dysfunctional thing because you're a man, and that's the reason why older men are considered insignificant because they can't keep it up. Keep it up, keep it up. They're just a slave to a rhythm that nobody is listening to the lyrics because there are no lyrics. It's the message is in the rhythm, in the cycle, in the vibration. And yet people ain't bitching and moaning about 5G no more without even realizing that same microwavable moment that you think you're having or was going to have is still here. I know I'm getting real deep, but I need to because I need to dump this 2022 because 22 has a whole lot of other things personally that I got to get up off of me too. If anyone was asked me that I would be in Washington, D.C. when I turn 60 in the state and health that I'm in when I was 20 in my 30s, I cut my wrist. Oh, hell no. That's it. That's all I get. That's not it. That's all. Fucking, sucking, drinking. Hey, next thing you know, you got a belly. You got tits. Aging like Scarface. I don't mean the scar that made him Scarface. I mean like being able to show how you looked when you were younger. And people go, oh my, you were pretty. You were pretty when you were young. Same person. Only evolved and yet. I had it to do all over again. I did it all, only sooner. But more vigor. On a many a day that we've lost so much of our religion, our faith. Because we've lost the ability to even believe that we possess the power. I got the power. We used to dance like we had it when that came out. And now we use the excuse of our arthritis. We'll not try to act like we can go out there and show these youngins how it's done. And yet, being a dirty old man makes a lot more sense when you can now recall how dirty old men used to say, boy, if you knew what I knew, try to get some Nino Brown, I'd be looking for the pimple on the booty. But youth is wasted on the youth only because it's yet another cycle that is just too difficult to deal with. And we are right now in a state where we on this earth have the highest population of grown-ass adults of so many different generational cultures, and yet they're all on plenty of fish. They're all trying to be freaky swingers and stuff like that. And the biggest fear that they have is walking in the door and finding out that grandmama or granddad or granduncle or little Susie or baby girl or this, that, and the other, same room, same time. And yet we're still stuck in this, what would Jesus do? And the one thing that everybody wants to talk about, but nobody wants to admit is that the one thing that Jesus was capable of doing that nobody else did today is he waited. He waited before he got that nut. He waited before he tried to even indulge into the possibility of how that would change his whole. And he basked in using that energy for good. Some people got around calling it sex magic, and they even truly believe that they can rub off one and make the major prayer of all prayers. And yet, some of those dark people believe in the same thing too, only they believe in it through pain. Makes a man think things over. And yet you have to, the more that you learn, the less your emotional humanity is important. And yet it becomes even more uncomfortable for those who still have it. The difference between being emotional over puppies being run over and realizing that the level of roadkill was too damn high. And yet we want to say, oh, gun control or this, that, and the other. And yet nobody's in control of a reason why. Can't nobody talk about nothing but guns. People are losing their mind because there's not a lot left without having to invest in something that's just way too deep, because it would take you off of all of the other things you could bask on without having to get into, oh, the end is near. People don't want to, oh, I want to have it all. I want to have love and appreciation and a partner and do this, that, and the other. And yet they've got the stamina of their most feared interaction. Want to sit back there to always talk about how I'm looking for the person that God has put before me. Again and again and again. And it used to be easy for people of the clergy to deal with people's emotions and have them come and reestablish their connection to their faith by that amazing grace. How sweet the sound to save the wretch. Now wretch is in. It's no sin to be wretchness. It's sin to be a wretch shamer or sex workers. Not a crime. We, in 2023, are not ready to realize that this whole population control thing is not intentional, it's unintentional. But if you're a God-fearing person, then first thing you have to realize is there's a reason why God created man to be biodegradable. And yet we keep putting them in boxes and in plastic and keeping them from messing up the environment. And yet ashes to ashes, dust to dust only sounds good when it's the best excuse you got for, baby, stop worrying about them. They're in a better place than where you at. You still got to go back to the salt mine. Working in the salt mine, moving out of time. Woo! About this. And yet, one of the biggest doggone conflicts that is going on right now, whether people like it or not, earth like to be young, gifted, and black. Not black like deep, dark, chocolate black. I mean black like blackity black. I mean like the kind of black that don't really go back. The black don't care if you like or you like it because it's beautiful. And it ain't got to prove it to be it. And anybody who questions it, they don't need it. And yet here we are watching people fuck up Kanye's money and be broke on their own because they can't stand the mere fact that they couldn't stand to be black. And yet they all got that cockhold Ace of Spades fetish. If I got to deal with you, the least I want to do is be able to degrade you. What you say to me, boy? We, the people, have gone past what people think a dream should be. But let's stay into the vein of where we're at right now, because what would Jesus do? We keep talking all this mess about, Lord, when a revolution comes, when Jesus returns, who you going to be down with? On what day can you honestly say that you spent the whole day trying to be the same way that you claim is the thing to do? Hell, half of the time you can't even realize that if you can talk to the animals, walk with the animals, if you could raise the dead, if you could pray for somebody and it do something, if you can walk on water, if you could, that would be great. There's nobody on this planet that wouldn't wish that they could actually pull off the same kind of things that Jesus Christ was heard of and known to do it, and that none of them will give up sex for that gift. Many have tried, few have been chosen, but most of the chosen are the ones we've now most uncomfortable with the mere fact that they failed. Oh, I tried to give my life to Christ, but that little boy's booty was just so pretty. That little girl's cootie was just so tasty. The blood of the innocents was just so. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. And yet, we haven't been doing it right because it ain't been logical until all truth becomes illogical and we move into this new age. And that's where we're at right now. From 2022, nobody can go back and say, how were you before 9/11? None of us can sit back and say that we didn't like Prince. And yet, if he was alive right now, and he came back and he said, hey, 2000 party over. Oops, out of time. Can you remember how we used to party? Like it was 1999? Can't nobody find the time. Oh, but you can have 70s parties, you can have 60s parties, you can have 80s. Oh, yeah, the soul train. And yet, in all of our supposed blackest beauty, we've been sacrificing the image and the essence of what the black man, not all of them, but the good ones, the ones that if it wasn't for, we wouldn't be. As a Washingtonian, I often think about the difference between Baltimore and DC. The difference between Baltimore and DC is Frederick Douglass. To this day, they still looking for that Negro as an escaped slave. And yet, in Washington, D.C., can't nobody even figure out why Trump freaked out from the first day that he showed up in this doggone big game, because he was prepared for everything but the ghost of Frederick Douglass. And yet, can't nobody understand what it felt like to be that kind of a nigga. From Baltimore, The Wire. Came up like OJ. Went and got him a white woman, wife, pure white, just like Obama mama. and had no kids, but that didn't stop them white folks from turning on their own. And that's what changed the legacy of a man who loved his wife and his country and had to die on the South Side, pissed off because, God damn it, Lyndon B. Johnson even said, you know, if we can let these white folks think that they're just a little bit better than these Negroes, they won't notice when we're stealing out of their pockets too. And now here we are in 2022. And I'm telling you some good shit. The only thing every American, God, red-blooded American right now has at their disposal that they have been neglecting is the power, the intensity, the protection, the defense, men of color, black men, Americans. The fear of the big black dick. Mandinka still runs cold through the veins of so many other people of other cultures and whatnot, that while they run, dive, sacrifice everything in their culture from wherever they've come from, just to be a part of where we, the people, have been back when their ancestors was too far down the food chain to be as raggedy as they are to the people who have been making the best thing that they've ever had in their genetics. And it sucks to keep having to try to say that to somebody out there who can't stand the sight, the smell, or the look of you at all times. AX, how you doing, man? Yeah. How you doing? Yeah. I'm still here, man. I'm still here. Yeah, you came in and kicked the whole sound thing. I'm digging that. I'm digging all of that. For real, for real. All of that. Oh, I know what it is. So, anywho, this is a spiritual purge because I'm a black ghetto Sufi master in advanced training in hell. And I've been that ever since I was a little kid. I didn't just dream it, I lived it. I watched how parents, people that I had to look up to, lived and died, struggled through so many lies of when is it going to be time? When are we going to be free? Someday we'll all be free. Still ain't here. And this year is up. 2022 is a done deal. And yet here we are, still incapable of being able to feel for black men like Kanye, who actually was a part of the nation's net worth until we allowed a few salty ass niggas to downplay the hearsay as to why, to this day, one of our biggest products is big black dick. Is that swagger that everybody wants and everybody belongs to. That flow, that thing that makes you go like no man has gone before, and yet we can't do it unless we stay in our lane because, well, every man that likes good booty has wanted a Shaka Khan, but there's a few folks that don't like how close the name is connected to Whoopi Goldberg. Bet you that's some good booty. Lord Jesus, still. And yet, not even Kanye could use her as a reference. And while that might not seem like much, the problem we got is that we're still stuck in this sense of nepotism to such a degree that some of the people that are keeping us back the most are the people who really honestly just finally culturally got to a point of pedigree to still feel the need to shit on niggas like you and me without even concern of how it's going to cause our very existence to suffer. I sit back and I think about how many people have been let go from these controversial upcoming projects, Twitters and Facebooks, and yet we all want to complain about TikTok because can't nobody stop. No stopping, TikToking. And they don't give a care about what you care. They just like how you dance like a monkey and entertain them so that they can show their people enslaved. See, you don't want to be like them. And yet, each and every last one of us is still struggling in our own times with many of these. They say that all of the stories written in the Bible are played in front of us from sunup to sundown, somewhere, somehow. Everything from Cain and Abel to David and Goliath to Bathsheba to you name it. You name it. Clutching pearls. It still don't stop the mere fact that the end result in a lot of these cases are, hey man, what do you want from me, God? Am I my brother's keeper? We got the blues we singing and still can't figure out it's cheaper to keep her because you want too goddamn much. Ain't never had it in their life. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. But be happy. Not happy, but happy. We are living without any form of desire, spiritual desire to stop. Step back for a moment on a personal note. I'm looking at the man in the mirror and ask yourself, you ain't got to believe in heaven or hell. But if you were to give yourself a little, how am I doing today? How was my work? Would it mean anything if the result would be the cause for a lot more of the dysfunction that some people? I've had more people sit back and say, if you just stop being the way you are, more people would like you. I've outlived more of those people. I've had more times that my haters have been the only motivators that I've had because nobody else believed that there was any form of anything else worth me being an asset to anything more than being just another nigga in the way. And them days is over. We ain't dying like that. This ain't no Tuskegee experiment. Problem is that with this great freedom came a whole lot of discomfort. Used to be, you had to earn your way to the top of the table. Now, the content of your character, the quality of your talent. You just can't be no Herschel Walker and walk yourself back into the Congress because you was the best Negro that they had to offer. And yet we have to pick another one by default. Picnic. Yeah, we come a long way, but we still picking niggas. And each one of them are the same kind of people that on any given day would feel some kind of way if they had to be stuck out somewhere, down Old National or in the hood or in the bluff or something with them other niggas. In a group full of white folks, happen to get stuck in the jungle. You the only black person, and they're going, hey, talk to your people. And he's going, I'm sorry. Those are not my people. I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm a homeboy from the South. And yet they busting in immigrants. About hundreds daily. 2022. They dropping them off at Kamala's rental. And it ain't bothering her. She got plenty of them in there working already. Bothering them. Problem is, it's Kwanzaa. Okay, sidebar. Anybody else catch that bullshit Kamala Harris just said for Kwanzaa? Is it just me, or did you hear her say, back when I was young, me and my brothers and sisters would practice Kwanzaa? And I'm thinking, that's some bullshit, because I can remember when that dude, that militant ass dude, decided to make up Kwanzaa. His ass was still on the motherfucking FBI list. I can't stand the mere fact everybody's hoo hoo hoo, ha ha ha. Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks. It's good to be missed. I'm still here in DC, man. Trying to make it. And yet, you know, ain't nobody tripping about the mere fact that shit. Montel Williams, remember him? The first shock jock, balling out of control. He's the first Baseman wannabe. He actually was Polly. His side piece, Kamala. I remember when he introduced her to the Entertainment Tonight. Check out my bitches. We about to get Madam Vice President. Cool. We ain't gonna let all this go by Biden, because ain't nobody got a problem with the mere fact that Biden's son, the one that's still alive, a powder hound like a motherfucker. How many times your daddy got to get you out of trouble because your ass is partying like a rock star? Only time you can basically be okay with drugs and alcohol, being out and promiscuous sex and all other stuff, is when you got enough money to keep other people from being in your business. And yet, shit ain't like that no more. You got people now that are being charged for theirs. They got people that now this is past some Epstein shit. Still doing this shit. And yet, can't nobody get with the mere fact that, man, you know. I actually heard a woman on a video sit back there and say, you know, if my husband was a pedophile and I knew that, I'd just have you know what? I'm just going to have a baby for you that you can just do whatever you want and leave the other ones alone. Deal? John Benet Ramsey. 2022, and we're going into 2023, and we're still not capable of being able to handle some of the basic traits of what is way past the fate that we all face right now as whom we are. It's America. Yeah, my black ass has got minimal problems If I had your hand, I'd throw my hand in, but it wouldn't really help none because problem is no matter how much you would wish for world peace, the world will not allow you to create it because we strive off of war. We strive off of conflict. We strive off of ignorance. We strive off of dysfunction. We feed off of it. And it's not just us. There are people that are richer that laugh at us. They're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. There are more people who are Americans right now who, no matter how much they want to claim that they're so proud to be an American, they know damn well that it still sucks to be out in the international realm of other valued royal people on the planet while they sit back and call you silly Americans. Hey, what's wrong with your people? And you guys, yes, Kanye is one of ours. I got so much to get off of my head right now, man. Because while all these major things that I'm talking about is going on, I got minor things. Watching friends and family just watching karma slowly creep in like the angel of death in the movie about Moses. Sitting back and thinking about the Sodom and Gomorrah never being about homosexuality. It was about creating a population of people who don't give a fuck about nobody. Hey, oh, look, that's some pretty angels. I don't care who you belong to. I want to fuck you. That's why they don't. Well, can I say my wife? Sure, but bruh, I hate to be the last one to tell you. You're a cuckold. You're a good cuckold. Matter of fact, as long as you don't know what you are, you probably make good people. People will love you. Oh, I love my papa. I hate the way my mom would just, and he'd just take it. But these men are the bad guys. As you have this feminized Nazi-ish mentality now that's gone so far that the usefulness of the machismo of mankind is measured by his penis prowess. Because anytime that they want to say anything against one of them, they go, you limp dick. Doesn't matter he's the most powerful person on the planet. Actually, he can afford the best whatever, but why does it have to be? There's all these toys and all of this now to make people forget what human interaction is, what energy exchange is. And yet they crave love. They don't know how to, love is learning how to enjoy someone's stinky fart, knowing that you fed them. That's the food that you made coming out of their body. And just like in the hospital, you can't leave until you can pass gas. Problem is, none of these things I'm saying feel comfortable. I got laundry I need to toss in the dryer. So I have this conundrum. Rather I stop or I leave you here to think about all that. And if somebody other than my man or my man X just happens to still be around, I'm going to hurry up and go drop my clothes into the dryer because I got to be at work tomorrow. And I'm going to come back and see if I can finish this. And if you're out there somewhere, leave me something more to go with as I come back and continue. This is WNDC, NDC. You good? Be right back. Yes. these pictures. Okay. All right. And so I'm back from outer space doing this live broadcast with this stupid look on my face. Weren't you the ones who tried to wreck me with your thighs? You think I crumble? For burgers and fries. Hey, yo, X, I appreciate the $10, bruh. I really do. I really do. Peace to you too, bruh. Thanks for that. Lord knows I can use it. Yeah. All right, I'm back. Nothing says thank you like cash. I'm a firm believer in that, even if it's just $1. Oh. But that brings us back to that ambiance of being a Washingtonian. Keeping in mind that there are people on this planet that see our currency for the images that exist on it. And think about that when they, damn Washington. One of the most interesting kind of analogies about people who visit the District of Columbia is that as they come down and they find that majority of all of the exhibits and things down there are all free. Unlike most of the places everywhere else, they're all free. And yet, as they travel around, they happen to notice that first line defense, security, cops, local cops, this, that, and the other, they're all black or they're all people of color. So people find themselves, and yet some people, yeah, but it's Chocolate City. Yeah, it's not Chocolate City. At least 60% of the people of color that exist in this district can identify, relate to being or belonging and having a connection to some embassy that exists on this dirt. Therefore, almost or at least 30% of the nation's capital is not owned by this country. Russian embassy, Russians. Iraqi embassy, Iraqis. At any given time, just like when you find yourself traveling abroad, if there's ever a need for you to reach out to your peoples, first place is the embassy. There ain't no embassy for people of color, black folks, or niggas. And the reason why I say that in the manner in which I say it is not because of the ignorance in it, but the level of tolerance for the existence of people who conduct themselves in a state of what some would consider ignorance. I don't go down there because that's where them niggas live. Now, this little story about how I got in a little trouble. My mom and auntie moved me to Bel Air. You can't tell me how deep it would be to feel like going back home. Oh man, don't let it twist it. How many of those, for lack of using this word, because this is the most hated word phrase that I hate, especially amongst our people, because it just shows a level of ignorance. No, I appreciate you, man. Thanks, bro. I'm just trying to purge right now because I so much. And I think that if there's nothing else that I could do, I could leave whatever. And if somebody out there gets something worth them seeing that this picture is so big, and yet each one of us with whatever wits we have left are so blessed to be a part of what may form the next state of humanity. Just like the last state in Pisces was the era of Jesus, but they didn't start talking about him until people stopped talking about it. Hundreds of years before Christ, after death, even though he died 33 years. And thus here we are, 2022, with at least the estimation that at least by 2033, all this intense change and shit that's going on with everything, this earth in a bipolar state, may just do like it did the last time and form a new rotation, a new gravity. And it's not major. It's not that abrupt, but it's so subtle that if Jesus knew that they were going to count time by him, he would have spoke more about it. If Jesus knew that when he said, forgive them because they know not. If Jesus knew that when he came back that Easter, because Easter is our first month, people don't get this. We ain't got 12 months, we got 13. We just can't see the other. And we are now, due to the shift, progressing into what we have no more space to argue the existence of 13, because we even got a new zodiac. We ain't got to use it. 200 years from now, ain't nobody gonna be talking about this 12 stuff. Oh, you're one of them. You're born right there at the cusp of this, that, the other. Forget the fact Capricorn jumped all the way into January because of it. There's no more 30 days. There's no more 24 hours. There's no more the seasons like we know them. There's no more reality like people would think. There's no just man and woman. There's already over 57 identified genetic beings who fall under the protection of the Hate Crimes Act. So how about the Chinese jumping up and protesting? Hey, before you keep giving us stuff, finish what you needed to do with the black folks. Here's the problem. The problem is the NAACP was about colored folk. It wasn't about all black folks. There are some of us that still, to this day, identify as insignificant. They're shucking and jiving on that corner, baby. I just do this. The Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, the crazy this, that, the other, and that's okay. The worst thing that any spiritual person who believes in a God could ever do is not consider the mere fact that we as humans were all born, created to be biodegradable. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And he made clay with water. And he molded it into his image. And there was Lilith, and there was Adam. And the first struggle began because Lilith has no fury. While she hated being a submissive, it wasn't that she hated being submissive because she didn't like submitting to Adam. She hated being submissive because Adam was a punk. He wasn't a great enough dominant to put her in her place. It became no fun. She became masochistic beyond belief. So much so that Adam and his punk self came back and said, hey, creator, can I just get me one just for me? I mean, not for her. I don't want to share her with her. I just want to keep it for me. And yet monogamy has grown more to be monotony just due to the mere fact that nobody plays well with each other. But while men are considered and demanded to be the stronger of the sex, the more that you realize you can't beat up no coochie. You can't shovel out no. Used to be able to before they lost that privilege for the price. I'm in a union. And I've known some other unions in the past that have been so pathetic that they would always make a deal. Let's make a deal. Let's sit down and talk about this. Give you this or take that. And yet, the audacity of people swear politics or government is. They'll pass a bill that everybody's, oh, we wanted that bill, but they attach some other bullshit to it. That's why the Clintons will always be known as the people who voted for Biden. Will always be known as a dude who voted for the enslavement and incarceration of mass people of color for the price of saving so many women and their rights. To the victor goes the spoils. What is a man who gains the whole world and loses his soul? What is a woman who gains her own independence and loses her ability to feel the love that they crave due to the demonization of the existence of so many insignificant people that ain't me. I can't stand you niggas. Always fucking stuff up. I never fucked up nothing in my life, and yet I always know that I'm going to always be reserved in the disappointment of others who can only identify my blackness by default. And yet, in Washington, D.C., common people from the outside can't do like they do everywhere else. All of a sudden decide they want to make a citizen's arrest because they see two black-looking, drug dealer-looking people exchanging briefcases in the middle of the street. Citizen's arrest! These niggas doing something illegal. Have no idea that they may be making an exchange of peace between two foreign countries who have been in war for hundreds of years. Diplomatic immunity doesn't look good. When people talk about this immigration issue, they have no idea that half of the reason why this immigration issue sucks so badly is not because they're of the Mexicans and the Spanish and all that. It's because of the niggas. Want to blame somebody? Blame France. Blame Canada. And yet, we can't make these oppressors save themselves by allowing us to save them respectfully. Because not my daughter. And yet, little Debbie can't wait to have a gangbang. Because men in the culture and masculinity of men have the greatest fear of all, and that's to see to the image of a female in the height of bliss at the intensity that may in fact be a little too much. You walk in and mama ain't had no man or nothing in a long time. Sitting back there and watching her and her joys and pains. The sun shines and rains, and somehow you kind of wish. I'll never forget, here live on YouTube, look up the video with the 100-year-old black woman being interviewed by a little black caster. Because what's so funny about it is when this fine, new, upcoming black newscaster boy happens to be sitting down interviewing this 100-year-old, healthy enough, great grandmother sitting in the house projects damn near with all of her descendants who know that she's a part of what's kept her alive so much is that she just ain't no and she was so lit and so happy that when he said, if there was anything that you would want at this age, what you want? And without blinking, without the fear that Jesus Almighty is going to be embarrassed. She said, I want some dick. You look good. What you packing? And he tried his best to keep it politically correct as possible, but she was dead ass serious. Now, we got plenty of fish. We got OK Cupid. We got Tinder. We got Bumble. We've got all these other new dating sites that are clogged more with older people who are at a state of, you know, I ain't too old that I still want me some, but I don't want it like this and I don't want it like that. You got women that for the first time can actually ask for what they want. Not just that they want to be lesbians, but they want some dick. Long, strong. Because that's the only way that they can see it, because that's the way it was painted in the Harlequin romances. Some enchanted evening, you might meet a stranger, and he may break your back out. Stella would have not just her groove back, but the wish that she could keep that fine, virile, young thing forever. Just like Mandingo, just like Drum, just like that other little story of slavery. It wasn't just about how the male slave owner loved himself some. It's also how, as Martin Luther King said, the biggest sin is not those who've done, but those who stood by and watched. And we've got too many people standing by and watching. We see it now in some of the TV programs when they try to make these for instances. You know, what would you do if you see somebody abducting somebody? I ain't doing nothing. For a lot of us comic book people, that's the whole Spider-Man thing. You know? Not my problem. Kills his uncle. I could have just helped somebody. We're in a state right now where even if you don't think on any given day, it would be beneficial to play it forward. The insistence of experimenting in that act is not enough anymore. We ain't got no Sally Struthers. Please give to UNICEF. Now you sit back there looking at all those damn commercials going to see. That's the Epstein shit. You too could buy this little girl from a third world country or this little boy, and we'll send you things. See, he's eating today. I want to see this. We want to live our best life because we're about to grow too old to have any enjoyment yet. We want to complain about why these generations ain't shit. There's no desire to leave more than what you found when you got here. More people are growing old without the instinct to consider that right now, as they know they're about to grow old, is the time for them to prepare their very being and how it's to be identified for the rest of their lives in two manners. Do I want to be elderly or wise? These things are so distinct that you just can't up and demand because you are of that age any more than your senior citizen discount. But you can't make somebody respect you if they don't see any form of a desire, need, or instinct worth respecting. And yet you questioning and demanding that because it feels so funky. It's not what is most important here. Because then it would require you to then go back and go, now, what did I do way back that caused me to not walk like that, talk like that? How dare you? You can't even question that because it's written all over your face. But if it's not their problem. The only thing you have left is the ability to somehow or another attempt to come back and, okay, I can understand that. It's not very customary that many people that you come in contact with at my age would be understanding. I realize that in order for me to gain the respect, I must earn the respect. Give them a reason. And yet, the biggest way to do so is to give them something that they appreciate you having done, but you didn't have to. Being that dirty old man sitting back there with the little boy going, boy, if you know what I know, that's a good one right there. She a keeper. Cheaper to keep her. Can't nobody still handle the mere fact that as a grown-ass man, you can't wait to have the freedom to go out and bang whoever you want, however you want. And yet, that mommy complex got you so struck that it would hurt your very heart to find out that your mama is a better laid than your wife. That's the reason why she don't like you being with her. And yet, you can't handle it. And the reason why you can't handle it is because we're now just not in the cut and dry thing. Now there's polarities. People are now fearing being a cuckold with a hot wife. That you have a fetish for making sure that she's happy. Having a desire to know that the woman who is the investment in your legacy has the freedom of knowing that my partner only has one desire, and that is that nothing that would make me more happy is forbidden. Baby, I want you to be as happy as you want. Well, if you want me to be so happy, would you be happy if I went out and got me some dick? I mean, no offense. I love the way we make love, and this, that, and the other, but I've just been having a hanker to get my back. I don't need to have my back blown out every day, but it sure be nice if I could just get some big black dick. We ain't ready. Because we would rather blow this whole fucking thing up before we could even tolerate the thought of thinking, what would I look like if I let my wife go out and get dick down better than I could ever do? When the answer to that riddle is, that depends on the motherfucker you allow to have it. Women fear that you'd fuck it up. More men that can sit back around there. Oh, no, I don't want nobody stretching out my wife. After they watched her give natural childbirth to 5 kids. Big head kids. That ain't the issue. They want that unconditional love. They want that no matter what. Yeah. I know that it must be hard for you to know that there's this wild ass porno scene out there with me in it, taking all these motherfuckers. This, that, and the other. I know that it must be difficult for you to be able to answer the questions that people would look at you when they go, yo, man, I saw that video of your wife at the gangbanging. God damn. Because you don't know. How would you deal with that? How would you convince them to keep them from ridiculing you? Yeah. I know. I loaned her. I was right there. See that one camera shot? That was me. Heard the other motherfucker saying, yeah, give it to him. Yeah. He can't handle it. Oh, you must be some. I don't need that. The art of love making, the act of only requires 2 to 3 inches of penetration. Everything else is intimacy. People want that love and happiness. Make you want to do right, make you want to do wrong. But all that shit that we've been tolerating that's got us this far, that morality, all that other shit. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Why can't I do as you do? Because it's complicated. Why can't I have a side piece? Because a side piece ain't an indulgence, it's another responsibility. And in the Bible, you treat equal. They even in the Bible say that if you have a brother and his wife and the brother die, out of solidarity, you're supposed to take the wife on. Instead of letting her go out and get her some new dick. Unless she's better off with some new dick. As long as she's happy. Raise our sons to be, we ain't ready for them to be. Polarities have complicated everyone's emotion. We now can't accept just because we just can't see what value their happiness is worth if your discomfort and being incapable of answering, yeah, I've got a gay son. Oh, he's bi. Oh, he's very happy. Got kids. They know. No, we don't hold anything back from them. But they're respectful. All the rest of that in the closet shit is what creates the pedophilia, the molestation. The loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right. And out of everybody in humanity that graces the faces of these things called social medias, the black man is the most terrifying, uncomfortable. It's hard to wake up every day, realizing that you can't shrink yourself. You can't make yourself this. You can't voice your opinion to someone that's in a lesser state of masculinity without them feeling some kind of way when you're incapable of being able to dial that shit back down before that motherfucker called 911. Because you didn't know that you were, because most of your existence has been lived in a state of, don't look me in the eye. You can't hide that shit. It's Michael Jackson as a scarecrow. You can't win. Go on, Coles. Say the anthem. You can't get in when you just get out of the game. We've been playing this game. Akon sat back and said some truthful shit past everything else. Everybody else was like, oh, Nick Cannon and all of them talked about how he wished that he could be better. Or this, that, and the other. And Akon said, see, first off, that's some white folk shit. All of that, you should be there for that rehearsal and this, that, and the other stuff. No, I should be out here, doggone, making sure that your ass can be in these classes, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I'm going to love you, this, that, and the other, so on, so on, so on, so. But it was never required for you to have to be the kind and gentle person that everybody wants you to be and everything else, too. Living in a successful life does not mean that Each person that you're doing it with is required to be the sole proprietor of whatever form of happiness you desire. Means that you are capable of affording to do it respectfully, that it doesn't come back. That you don't fuck up somebody's head. You want to have a nice young piece of stash? Go ahead. Raise them. And just like that, if you love them, then let them go. They come back, they're yours. They call that partnerships, internships, and business. These 1950s style relationships were not just so simple from a moral standpoint. Reason why you didn't know, because you didn't know. We were maids. Yeah, you were a lot more than maids. We raised your kids. When your badass kids wouldn't listen to nobody else, they listened to Mamie. Even when they had to grow up and be the person who have to fire me. Have to tell Mamie, I can't do nothing for your son, your badass son. Out of saying, well, you know, yeah, that's really bad that you're about to get evicted. We can't pay you no more extra. People talk about Africans. Oh my God. We harp about servants and the whole nine. Over in Nigeria, all these people look alike to you. And yet, no, that's a bush person. Yeah, you get another one. People are living and dying in this. Just get another one out of the bush. They're more than happy to serve you. They have a place to sleep. The money you'll give them. We as people of color can't see ourselves even being capable of utilizing that same thing. The only reason why unions were invented is because they were there because labor is going to be labor is going to be labor. They just wanted to make sure that it was fair. From the creation, they got a little bit too messed up because just like I said earlier, you know, some of them would do some dumb shit like, you know, trade away. It's perfectly good shit. Stall and do this other thing. Oh, nope. We'll give you our weekends and overtime if you let us wear shorts to work. Okay. Let it just be some of us. Not all of us. Selling each other out. Labor. What would you do for a Klondike bar? We got this whole thing twisted on a day-to-day basis, and there's so much shit that I just let out that on any given day should be something that everyone has already locked and loaded in before they open their mouth, step outside, and think that they're privileged to have more access to the world, regardless of its input on any given day. Anyone who might face their moment where whatever they got left is their legacy has the ability to realize that, you know, if you're not doing it on a day-to-day basis from jump, you just can't all of a sudden decide, well, I'm going to wait until I get this handle and this, that, and the other, and then that'll be my legacy. You ever want to see God smile? Plan something. You ever want to see God giggle? Tell God about your plan. You ever want to see how sadistic God is? Show God what you can do with or without it. I'm not saying that we have to buy into this whole outside entity, but from within. I mean, words have power. We have this power. Even Jesus said, you got it. Even if he said that and it wasn't so true for a lot of people way back then, right now, due to this transition into the age of Aquarius, just like the transition was into the age of Pisces when he existed, it is more possible that if, in fact, you are capable of actually being able to focus story of Peter and Jesus walking out on the water. Peter's like, yeah, I got this shit, man. Yo, appreciate you. You know, yeah, you showed me this work. And then all of a sudden, flash. Jesus sit back around. And he's like, yo, Peter, where you at? He's like, I'm down here, my Lord. He said, what you doing down there? He said, yeah, you was. I keep telling you, man, focus. My bad. I looked her in the eye. My bad. She crossed her legs and she ain't got no panties on. I lost focus. Slash. Nothing wrong with that. Jesus had a wife called Mary. She knew. She knew from the time she met him over Simon's. She knew when she realized that he really is a virgin. And she should know because she the best piece of booty in Jerusalem. And became the franchise. He didn't buy all them people food for the Last Supper. When he came back, Easter, first month back, who was there? I truly believe that the reason why he took so long to come back was just because he wanted to bone up on his sex game. The best place to learn is from the pros down in hell. And he came back and he had his fine fox. His mama was there to justify, you go ahead, baby. And he put it on her. And I believe that that union is not sinful in his thought. Consummating his marriage, oh my God. Somebody would say, what would be the best pornographic scene you would ever like to see? I was like, yo, really? You ready for this? If there ever was a pornographic scene, I wouldn't mind being a fly on the wall watching the day or the night. Jesus came back, saw his wife and consummated their marriage. Put it on. To see Mary Magdalene laid back in whatever position he got her in, going, oh, Jesus. Oh, gee. Ooh, Jesus. With no shame. I mean, that's what we all keep asking and trying to act like that's what we want for ourselves. That love making, that connection, that whip appeal. 2022. And while I got so many other personal issues right now going on from the struggle that I've been dealing with these damn cracker ass crackers and these nigga ass Negro, these uppity Negroes and whatnot up here in this place where the mentality of them outside of the bubble allows them to basically neglect entities that don't necessarily have to go through the same rigmarole. I don't have to be a fucking Mason or an Elk or something like that for you to respect me. I don't know how many times I've told friends of mine who were one. You know what white Masons call me? He said, what? He said, they call me sir. You know what black Masons call me? He said, what? They call me nigga. It don't go. What would Jesus do? In my single state as a black man, upper metaphysical, ghetto Sufi master in advanced training. If there was a prophecy of me being of the state of a preacher, pastor, imam, Sufi, shaman, people say, why ain't you? I said, because, you know, every black man will tell you one thing. The power that a woman has anything else is the ability to convince that man that they are more valuable than they even know. And invest so deeply into it, they got no other choice but to believe it. We all talk about we want to have that kind of love where you can speak life into somebody. You can have a love so strong that even on their deathbed, you can demand out of love, I don't allow you to leave me, and they won't. We see it in some of these old couples, been together for forever, and then for some strange reason, one of them go, and then not too long afterwards, another one go too. You gonna be there? Go to wait for me. If you give me, gonna need me, baby, wait for me. Just a telephone call away. We are incapable of realizing how powerful our instincts are over our logic because our faith is so messed up because it doesn't exist in the realm that we claim we're created from. And with all that being said, I really honestly, I'm sitting here at an hour and 37 minutes trying to figure out if I've said enough, if I've been enough, if I've done enough. If today is the last day on this earth in this state, will I have left something where somebody out there appreciating the mere fact that I didn't just go without saying, without giving nothing? It's not benefiting me, no. I'm not doing this because I'm hard up for money. I'm always hard up for money. I got to struggle on this shit so messed up right now that I just paid off my November rent last week. It don't matter. What you gonna do? It don't matter. It's all in God's hands. Don't let that be the reason why I'm doing this. But nothing says thank you like cash. I'm Alpha Master Pimp Sir Easy, Hafez, Active Dominant, Ghetto Sufi Master in Advanced Training here in DC and hell in the bubble. And this is WNDC, which stands for We in the Crib and You Ain't in DC. And I'm sending positive energy to everybody. And if by chance you're capable, share it. And if by chance you can share, like, subscribe, I shall appreciate it. But I think if I don't stop this shit right now and go check on my laundry, hopefully it should be close enough to dry because I split it up for faster drying. I take my ass to sleep and try my best to pray that I can get up, go get this last little bit of work, and try to figure out what the rest I'm going to do with 2022 in the state of where I'm at. You good?